If you've spent even a little time in Stella Sora, you already know one thing. Pulls are precious, and wasting them hurts. Between the characters that are already dominating the meta and the ones coming in future banners, it's really easy to make the wrong call and regret it later. That's exactly why people keep asking the same question. Who is actually worth summoning and upgrading right now? So in this video, we're breaking it all down with a full Stella Sora character tier list. We'll talk about which characters truly carry your account, which ones are solid but situational, and which ones you can safely skip unless you're a die-hard fan. Whether you're planning your next summons or deciding where to invest your resources, this guide is here to help you play smarter, not harder. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Stella Sora. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Teresa, Jinglin, Canas, LaRue, Amber, Casimira, Noya, Coronis, Shimiao, Iris, and Caramel. This is the part of the tier list where characters don't scream broken, but quietly carry your run while you're busy making mistakes. And honestly, that deserves respect. Welcome to the B tier of Stella Sora, where value shows up in subtle ways and clutch moments. Let's start with Teresa, because shields never go out of style. Whether she's on the field or backing you up, she provides a protective barrier and boosts aqua damage for the active main unit. That alone makes her a lifesaver in boss fights, where one wrong move can send you back to the loading screen. She's not flashy, but she's the friend who shows up with an umbrella when it starts raining. Jinglin is technically labeled as a versatile unit, but let's be real, she lives for boss battles. Her ultimate hits random enemies, which sounds exciting until you're fighting a big group and realize half your damage went sightseeing. Against single targets though, she's consistent, reliable, and surprisingly satisfying to play. Then there's Canas, who doesn't need to be greedy with the spotlight to make an impact. She transfers a hefty damage over time buff to the main unit, scaling off 62% of her own attack stat. That means she quietly melts enemies while your main character takes all the credit. Classic support behavior. LaRue is a vanguard that actually feels like one. A 5-hit attack combo and a strong ultimate multiplier give her respectable damage for a 4-star main damage dealer. The only awkward part is her support skill popping up in random locations, which can feel like the game is daring you to reposition mid-fight. Amber, your very first companion, is way better than people give her credit for. She doesn't have wild mechanics or fancy tricks, but her skill and ultimate multipliers are solid across the board. She's simple, dependable, and proof that starter characters don't have to be bench warmers forever. Casimira brings steady Ignis damage and not much else, and that's kind of her whole identity. She keeps the fire damage flowing, but outside of that, she doesn't offer standout utility. As a support unit, she's serviceable, but you won't be building strategies around her anytime soon. Noya is the definition of beginner-friendly power. A 4-hit Ventus combo and a strong attack stat for a 4-star unit make her a reliable early-game damage dealer. She's basically the character that says, "Relax, I've got this," while you're still figuring out the controls. Coronis sits in an interesting spot. She offers light crowd control, mostly effective against weaker enemies, and works best when she's actually on the field. Her support value shines only if you're stacking Umbra units, otherwise she's more situational than spectacular. Shimiao is where things get a bit more fun. A long 6-hit combo, solid multipliers, and a 2-phase main skill give her depth, while her skills and ultimate can inflict chill. That chill effect adds a layer of crowd control, making her feel more tactical than her tier placement suggests. Iris is often forced into a support role, but honestly, she's better off leading the charge. Her chill effects trigger through her main skill, not her support kit, which means she really wants to be the active unit. If you're using her purely as backup, you're kind of wasting her potential. And finally, Caramel, a vanguard with a surprisingly spicy kit. She boosts her own damage and applies damage over time effects, something not many Umbra vanguards can do effectively. If you're limited to 4-star Umbra units, she's a genuinely solid choice that pulls more weight than expected. So yeah, B tier in Stella Sora isn't about mediocrity. It's about characters who show up, do their job, and occasionally save your run without asking for applause. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chixia, Frisia, Mystique, Telia, Cosette, Anne, and Flora. Chixia is one of those characters who feels way smarter than she looks on paper. Her support skill summons extra damage sources, which means even when she's not on the field, enemies are still getting poked from angles they didn't sign up for. On top of that, her ultimate locking directly onto the target is a huge deal. No missed damage, no awkward whiffs, just clean and reliable output. That said, you do notice that her attack stat is a bit low for a 5-star unit. But honestly, because her kit is so efficient and precise, that weakness rarely holds her back. Chixia plays more like a tactical damage enhancer than a raw stat monster, and that's exactly why she fits so comfortably into A tier. Frisia is pure controlled chaos in the best possible way. Her ultimate throws her into a berserk state for 20 seconds, massively boosting her attack and completely changing how she plays. That 5-hit standard combo turns into a brutal 3-hit sequence that hits harder and faster, making her feel like a totally different character once she powers up. What really pushes her over the edge is flexibility. She can apply chill through her main skill, and even her support skill can trigger a weaker version through stream. Whether she's leading the fight or backing up the main unit, Frisia always feels impactful and slightly unhinged, which is honestly part of the charm. Mystique is basically the summons everywhere character. Her main skill and support skill both call in creatures to deal damage, so the battlefield is rarely quiet when she's involved. Add her ultimate into the mix, which brings out a powerful area of effect summon, and suddenly enemies are getting overwhelmed from all sides. The trade-off is her standard attack combo, which feels noticeably weak compared to the rest of her kit. But let's be honest, you're not picking Mystique to mash basic attacks. You're picking her to flood the screen with Umbra summons and let them do the dirty work for you. Tilia is the kind of support that makes boss fights feel fair, maybe even easy. Her support skill stuns a target for 2 full seconds, which is massive, especially against bosses that love long attack chains. That single moment of control can completely change the flow of a fight. She's rarely used as a main unit, but if she ever does end up front and center, her Fortify Stance main skill helps keep her alive longer than you'd expect. She's not flashy, but she's dependable, and in high-pressure fights, that's worth its weight in gold. Cosette is a support unit who secretly wants very specific friends. She has a decent 5-hit combo for her role, even if her attack stat is on the weaker side. But her real value comes from her support skill, which applies a devastating debuff causing enemies to take around 60% more Umbra damage. The catch is that this shines almost exclusively in mono Umbra teams. Outside of that setup, she loses a lot of her identity. But if you are running full Umbra, Cosette suddenly transforms from nice to have into why would you ever drop her? Anne doesn't boost damage, she detonates it. Her support skill increases the entire squad's attack by a massive 66% for its duration, which is honestly ridiculous. She's one of the strongest pure buffers in the game, and her value skyrockets in coordinated team setups. Her main skill summons a creature that directly buffs squad attack by default, but its damage output depends heavily on random targeting. That randomness makes her less reliable as a main unit and reinforces what she does best, standing safely in the backlines and making everyone else hit like trucks. Flora's support skill is the kind of ability that makes damage numbers look illegal. She boosts the main unit's critical damage and critical rate while also dealing some extra damage herself. It's simple, clean, and incredibly effective. Everything you want from a top-tier support. Her ultimate adds even more control by creating a hot zone that pulls enemy attention while applying Ignis damage over time. Between the critical buffs and battlefield manipulation, Flora doesn't just support the team. She actively shapes how fights play out, which is exactly why she earns her place in A tier.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Chitos, Jerry, Nazuna, Minova, Nanoha, Ridge, Shia, Fuyuka, and Nezuka. Chitose didn't just arrive in Stella Sora, she changed the rules. As the very first limited unit in the game, her long-term value is already sky-high and only going to climb as the roster expands. She currently holds the highest attack stat in the game, and it shows immediately in her 6-move combo, which hits like a freight train that forgot how to stop. Her ultimate blankets a massive area of effect, making positioning mistakes basically irrelevant. On top of that, both her main skill and ultimate can apply chill, slowing enemies and softening them up at the same time. High damage, crowd control, and future-proof value. This is what an S-tier Vanguard looks like. Jerry is all about controlled destruction. Her 5-move attack combo is smooth and consistent, but the real magic happens with her skill. She links 2 nearby enemies inside an area of effect damage field, turning them into unwilling dance partners who share the pain. While those enemies are linked, Jerry gains additional buffs to her basic attacks, which lets her snowball damage incredibly fast. The more you keep enemies inside her zone, the more terrifying she becomes. She's simple on the surface, but brutally effective when played correctly. Nazuna is the definition of high-risk, high-reward support. She provides powerful buffs to the entire squad while also contributing extra damage, making her a core piece of many Terra compositions. When her buffs land correctly, the team feels unstoppable. The downside is that her buff system relies on randomness, which can make her feel inconsistent outside of mono-Terra teams. In the right setup though, Nazuna is absurdly strong, and when the raffle favors you, she feels downright unfair. Minova is what happens when balance is done right. She thrives in the main position with a versatile and engaging moveset, but she doesn't lose value when moved into a backup role. Even off the field, she continues to contribute meaningful damage. This flexibility makes her one of the safest S-tier picks in the game. No matter the team, no matter the content, Minova always feels like a correct decision, and that kind of reliability is incredibly rare. Nanoha keeps things clean and aggressive. Her 3-move combo is simple, fast, and extremely effective, making her a perfect main damage dealer for Ventus teams. She doesn't need complicated setups, she just goes in and starts deleting targets. Her ultimate summons 2 turrets that stay on the field and apply constant pressure, allowing Nanoha to maintain damage even while repositioning. Between her speed and sustained output, she turns the battlefield into a no-escape zone. Ridge earns her reputation as the best 4-star unit in the game without trying to imitate 5 stars. Her support skill allows the entire team to trigger Terra-specific mark damage, adding extra numbers to almost every attack and massively boosting overall damage. When used as a main unit, she prefers to play at range to stay healthy, which slightly limits her aggression. But as a support, she's borderline essential for Terra teams and easily punches above her rarity. Xia brings chaos with style. She deals damage by deploying multiple drones that lock onto targets, letting her apply pressure from all angles at once. Her ultimate takes things even further, calling down a massive orbital barrage that sweeps across the field in a long, wide line. What truly sets her apart is her mobility and field control. As a 5-star Lux Vanguard, she finally fills the long-standing gap of a top-tier Lux main damage dealer. Fast, explosive, and dominant, Xia defines Lux at its best. Fuyuka is raw Ignis power done right. Her fast attack combos and strong basic multipliers let her tear through enemies, and her unique bullet mechanic enhances that damage even further. Whether it's waves of mobs or single bosses, she handles both with ease. Because she applies Ignis marks so effectively, she's the perfect leader for mono Ignis teams. With Fuyuka at the front, the entire squad benefits, making her not just a damage dealer, but the backbone of Ignis compositions. Nezuka turns the battlefield into a storm. She specializes in wide-area Ventus damage, constantly applying marks, slowing enemies, and controlling space with ease. Her kit is built around pressure, and it shows in every encounter. Her ultimate unleashes a devastating series of whirlwinds that blanket nearly everything on screen, and sometimes beyond it. With her arrival, Ventus teams finally feel complete, forming a strong, well-rounded setup that will only get better unless a new support overtakes Anne or the game leans hard into power creep. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.